The Transtar 4300 kit's battery box and fuel tank steps are nicely done parts that do a good job of capturing the appearance of the real truck's components. Separate pieces provided for the bottom step and for the top of the battery box lid. One difference visible in the picture here is most likely a field modification, with part of the step being cut away to provide clearance for a fuel filter. This truck has a larger bottom step, and the top portion, on the battery box lid, is an exact match to the kit part. Note the open texture with the raised area around each hole for traction. The kit's parts replicate this feature very nicely, with a prominent raised ridge around each of the holes, the only drawback being the parts are molded solid. India ink or a flat black wash can be applied to the steps to create the illusion of depth. However, in 1/25th scale, it's entirely practical to drill the holes out. Keep the steps attached to the parts runner for this operation so it can serve as a built-in holding device and support with a small block of wood. Use a drill that fits inside the raised area, so this will remain after the hole is drilled. For the Transtar battery box steps, a number 67 drill, or 032 diameter, is the proper size. The raised edge around each hole is molded with enough depth that can serve as a guide to keep the drill centered. I use a spiral push drill to minimize the amount of wear and tear on the fingers. This is one modeling task best done in a series of smaller installments rather than one marathon session. With all holes drilled, steps are cut free from the parts tree. At this stage, I like to leave the chrome plating on because it acts as a guide coat when sanding off the attachment points, parting lines, and any other blemishes. Drilled steps set in place temporarily to show the improved appearance. These will have the remaining chrome removed, they'll be painted aluminum, and they'll be reinstalled after the frame and battery box is painted black. Parts box items, such as this Ilateri FLC Freightliner step, can be modified many different ways. Here they were used on a road boss by trimming them down the middle to make two L-shaped pieces, trimming to length, and drilling out the holes as required. With the chrome removed and painted black, they make a great set of plain steel steps for this no-frills fleet truck. Many Mack tanks have these perforated plates welded into the step areas. AMT's Mack fuel tanks replicate some of this appearance, but the actual step surface is left smooth. This perforated steel plate is 1/32 of an inch thick and was cut from a larger piece that came from the door of a scrap microwave oven. It can be used on its own to simulate walkway surfaces, and it also works well as a drilling guide. Here I have it clamped to a piece of 20 thou styrene sheet, and I'm drilling out the holes, which are a perfect fit for a 1/16th drill. Drill sufficient holes to create a perforated piece of styrene sheet, large enough to suit the parts you'll be making. Trimming and shaping the styrene sheet, especially for small pieces, is easier than trying to work with the 1/32 thick steel plate. A strip 2 holes wide fits in the bottom step, and a 3-hole wide section is a perfect fit for the pad molded on for the top step. A small amount of solvent cement welds these pieces permanently in place, and although they're not a perfect replica of the Mack steps, the appearance of the row of holes on the top surface is more convincing than the flat, smooth step. Thank you for watching this brief look at a few ways that the kit steps can be improved. Coming up in the near future is time to make some fuel caps for this Mack.